Hello, first graders. We are starting now with telling time. So with telling time, today's is going to seem pretty easy, but we really want to start out making sure that we're understanding all the way what we're doing. So you already kind of have a sense for hours and minutes. You know that hours are longer and minutes are shorter. Uh, and clocks are what we use to measure the passage of hours and minutes, to measure time. So as we're doing this, we're going to start with hours. I mentioned that yesterday. That's the big one that we pay the most attention to. Now, if we were at school together, clocks are based on sundials, and we would do some experiments to actually see how the clock kind of, you can see it in a sundial. Since we don't have that, we're still going to be trying to do this. We won't learn all of it quite as much as we would otherwise. So we're focused on hours, first of all. That's where people started with telling time, was just with hours. And it wasn't until, we've been around for thousands of years. It wasn't until fairly recently that people actually bothered to try to keep track of minutes. So today, when you're doing your work, you're going to be needing to use your paper plate clock with just the turtle on it again, like you made yesterday. The book doesn't say you have to do it with this, but I want you to, because it's really important to get lots of extra practice and experience with something really easy, like just the hours. And then when we add in minutes and it gets a little more complicated and tricky, you'll have this strong foundation to work with. Okay, today we have lesson 9.6, time to the hour. Really important not to skip this over. How do you tell time to the hour on a clock that has only an hour hand? Now, we're going to want to know this on clocks that have hour and minute hands also, but we're going to start with just the hour hand so that we really fix in our brain that's what we want to concentrate on, because getting mixed up with hours and minutes is what I see a lot of people have trouble with if they start with clocks that have both right away. So here, this is not going to be very hard. Start at 1, write in the missing numbers, right? So you can do it there on the number line. And then down here, you do the same thing with the clock. Start at 1, go around and write in the missing numbers. All right, on this side, purple box, where we make sure that we're clear on what our jobs are for today. What does this clock show? So here you can see how it helps just having that one hand on there. And do you see this little inside circle? That's there to help you know where to stop your hour hand. Your hour hand is going to start here at this center dot and go out to that dotted circle. It doesn't go past the dotted circle. Keep it inside over here, because outside the dotted circle, you start to get really long, and then you have a minute hand. So the hour hand points to the 3. It is 3 o'clock. So you can say 3 o'clock. You can see 3 o'clock here on the clock. And then also you write it this way. You do the 3 to show the hours, a colon, and then 00 to show the minutes. Just like when we write our copywork Bible verses, this shows you the chapter, and then we have the colon, and over here shows you the verse. Here, when we're doing time, we have hour and colon, and then minutes. So down here, this is not going to be too hard. You look at where the hour hand points, and then you write the time down here. Now you're going to write it in this form. So for all of these, you're going to have the colons, and you're going to have the zeros, because all of our minutes right now, we're not going to do any minutes. So they're all 0 minutes, and you do put 2 zeros here because we have a tens place and a ones place. So 2 zeros, and then over here, you're going to put the hour. So you can see here, this hour hand is pointing to the 9. So 9 o'clock. Graders, I'm interrupting this video here for a very special announcement and a special reminder. Every time you're doing one of these on this paper, I want you to also put it on your paper plate clock, because we want to have lots of practice with the hour hand. That's going to help us so much when it comes to all of our other telling time. So for number 1, that says 9 o'clock that we already just wrote down there, you're actually going to take your paper plate clock. I'm putting it up here so that you don't have that glare and it's easier to see. And you're going to take that turtle and you're going to point it straight at the 9. Make sure it points straight at the 9. Don't let it go down here a little bit or up here a little bit. We're measuring. We want to be precise. Make it point straight at that 9 to show 9 o'clock. Every one of these problems that you do on these 2 pages here in the middle of your lesson, all of them, all the way up to number 15, make sure that you're putting those times on your paper plate clock. So number 2 is 1 o'clock in your book. You can see the clock in your book. It's going to be so easy to just make your clock match it. Go ahead and make it point to 1 o'clock, but I want you to make sure that you're getting this extra practice with your actual paper plate clock here so that we have lots of practice with our hands. So this, I don't think, is going to be very hard. You can let me know if you have trouble, but it's that there. Same thing over here on this page. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are done with this in like 2 minutes. And then the 4th page, this is the one you're going to take a picture and send me the picture. Which time is not the same? Circle it. So here's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Do you see this little apostrophe here? Remember how we said that means that it's abbreviated? Because we actually used to say 1 of the clock. And then, you know, people, we like to just shorten things up. So we took out the F and the space, and we took out the and the space, and put in apostrophe to show we've taken out all that stuff, and now we just say 1 o'clock. So these two are 1 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So now you need to take a look at these. Which one is not 1 o'clock? It says circle it. I wish they said cross it out. If you're looking for the one that's different, it seems more logical to me to cross it out, but they said circle it. So circle the one that does not say 1 o'clock. Now, hot problem. This is not a super hot problem, but this is the first time when you're needing to draw the hour hand. So anytime we're measuring, remember, we want to be really precise. So if I'm trying to say 1 o'clock, I'm going to start here at the dot. And I'm not going to let my pencil go past this circle because I need to make sure my hour hand is short. The other thing I'm not going to do is be sloppy about where it points for 1 o'clock. So if I'm trying to write 1 o'clock, I'm not going to let it go kind of here. Do you see how that's sort of between the 1 and the 2? It's a little bit hard to see. So we're not going to do it that way because we want to make sure that we're really precise when it comes to measuring. Now, of course, you're not going to put it there because you're not doing 1 o'clock. Oh, and of course, my eraser does not want to cooperate. You're going to be doing 8 o'clock. So you're going to show 8 o'clock on this clock, and then you're going to write it with numbers. Just like up here, 1 o'clock is written with numbers, write 8 o'clock with numbers. And then test prep. Look at the hour hand. What is the time? It might be written like this with numbers, or it might be written like this with numbers and words. Okay, first graders. That's your math for today. Not hard at all. Make sure you got your extra practice with the paper plate clock here. Even though it's easy, remember, doing things with our bodies and our hands helps us to learn it a lot more deeply. And that way, when we start to add in the minute hand next week, we've got this hour hand, our turtle friend. It's fixed here in our brain. Mr. Slow Turtle, who just bit by bit moves around the pond. All right, we'll have more math next week. Bye-bye.